trolling, of course. Hello, my name is DJ Dyko here from REVOLT Radio 90.1 here, coming with some news here that I feel like we need to kind of just really get into, since the Judeo-Christian oxymoronic thing. Since there's people still defending Israel, and I want to break it down real quick that it's their religion, if you can hear me, that it's their religion and their own media, including American media in the world, says that the Jews are pedophiles. It alludes to it being their religion, or to the fact that Israel is trying to legalize it. Their own Israeli news sources are saying this, and have been saying this, and that's why I felt the need to make this video today here. So let's get right into it. Oh, shoot. This bit. Sponsors on our website right now. TID Radio, GoTro. We got a few other My Patriot Supply. Click those banners and you'll help us get a transmitter. We're just trying to get a further signal here. But are y'all noticing any patterns yet? If you haven't, these are mainstream sources, and we'll go through them here. And this is in response. This is what made me decide to make this video. Not only is there rabbis and Jews getting caught all across America and Europe right now, including the Israeli government official that was caught in Australia. As soon as he got there, he was caught in contact with trying to sexually lure a 13-year-old. Now, the Israeli leader, I don't know if it's the same guy. We're about to have to refresh my memory on this. But the Israeli leader now in Vegas, which, hang on a second, I do think we could come back to this. The Alexandrovich court hearing on child sex charges after the denied lawyers claim that Israeli officials skipped the arraignment. None of us Americans can skip the arraignment, or we get in a warrant. This, that, and the third. I mean, this is crazy. New for them. It was he was promised that 3,000 years ago. Nobody's buying it. These are the comments for the radio listeners. He is the one operating the Homeland Security count on X in Israel, folks. That 3-year-old was promised to him 3,000 years ago. And a meme with this old-looking rabbi that his face is rotten, probably a PDF file. It's safe to assume now, I guess. It's their religion. I do something evil, but you're guilty because you found out, and that makes you anti-Semite. Oh. 110, like a movie trailer. Disney Pixar's 110. They're all walking. Okay. Is anyone really surprised? A lot of Christians here in my community are surprised that it's the religion. It's not just these fringe guys that are identifying as J and hiding out like the Catholics. It's everybody's normalized. That's why they're like, I don't understand what's going on. What do you mean I'm going on here? I'm Jewish. They do. Well, we can roll some of the clips. But that's crazy. He's Abdel and I'm Bell, and that's the way it goes. But we're going to start over for the YouTube listeners. Let's get in, because I downloaded it and we're going to eventually put it on the website, I guess. We don't update the website because I don't know what wicks allow anti-Semitic and what's not. So, we're going to update the case law. We're going to update the products. We're going to put a lot of the other stuff. You have to tune in. It's constantly updating on the live stream. Or we'll do YouTube for now until we can get enough automated stuff and then just worry about what's important. But let's get into these mainstream news headlines. This is not even all of them, but the majority of them are Jewish ran. Actually, they're all Jewish ran, or they're an Israeli media outlet saying exactly what I've been saying. But again, if you're a Jew calling out a fellow Jew or your own religion, I don't know. They just can't really say you're being anti-Semitic if you're Jew and you got receipts. But if we had, it's Talmud law, they're protected, this, that, and the third. I don't know. I'm sure Jesus would be burning Talmuds today, is all I'm saying. That's where this comes from. It's the people go, oh, if a Jew's lying and covering and believes in all this stuff, and probably a pedophile, if he tells you, if he tries to go, oh, that's not real, that's not other Jews, or it's just a collection of stories, it's not. A simple Google search will show you, the Google AI, their own sources, that it's Jewish rabbinic law. The videos of their kids being taught the Talmud, like in lower elementary school. They go in, these kids, they ask classroom, we're the chosen, they're the goyim, we got to destroy the goyim. Talking about everyone else. I'm paraphrasing, but you can find these clips. And the Lord presented me with those clips years ago, and I didn't understand what I was seeing. And then I got distracted by all the other conspiracies, flat earth for a while, and then now I'm back to I know exactly what that means. It goes back to Matthew or whenever he said that you make your children twice the children of hell than you. I'm glad they put that scene, that anti-Semitic scene, in the Chosen series. Twice the children of hell. Because, that's what happens. You continue to let them become that, and then now, how many generations were they cursed? Now, we fast forward, and here we go. We got the Times of Israel plus 61J Media, real in the Jewish world, right? Right? Jewish Australians, right? Okay. I don't say what that one is. Jerusalem Post Times on here, and a bunch of others. It's like we're going to get into it. The Independent. Israel becoming a safe haven for pedophiles with laws that allow. Hold on, shit, mom. Israel becoming a safe haven for pedophiles with laws that allow any Jews to return. Activists claim it's not a return if they've never been there. Tip of the iceberg: how foreign sex offenders find refuge in Israel. While the Interior Ministry says Rabbi Baruch Lana will not be allowed to only advocates. Group says about 100 rabbis, teachers, and other figures become accused, charged of sexual abuse overseas have already found refuge in Israel. Way more than that. Has somebody trying to make it look like, oh, there's just 100 of them. No, that's the damn religion. We'll get into that just slightly because we don't want to get removed. And this channel, they threatened the channel just for the content live. We tried streaming the live stream 24/7 on here for a while. We finally got set up with that still. Many accused Jewish pedophiles, this is the Times of Israel, many accused Jewish pedophiles in the U.S. flee to Israel. Report. Jewish Community Watch research cited by CBS says more than 60. Again, they're lowering the numbers. It's not like them to deflate the numbers. Child sex abuse have escaped the Jewish state since 2014. Again, way more than that. That's too many. You don't have laws against it over there. You don't hear it. They have to just accept being whipped. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to the Jerusalem Post. No, we're going to skip that one and make that last. CBS. How Jewish American pedophiles hide from justice in Israel. This is CBS and CBS Morning. They also, it's not just a digital article, so a visual one that they did on TV, like as a segment, or like, there was a segment that aired on the network. You got Israel, the promised land for pedophiles, the headline. Hollywood, a sexual predator to find refuge in Israel. The state of Israel for decades served as a safe haven for wanted criminals, thanks to lax extradition laws and the so-called law of return. back plus 61J Media, Austria, Emmanuel, the town in Israel where pedophiles find safe haven. We got the town now, this is the biggest town, ending the party of abuse. Israel is a safe haven for pedophiles. And every other week, a daycare worker accused of abuse. Here's a possible solution. What happens to sex offenders who flee to Israel? There's a headline. But I've seen it. I have to go look and find that one. And then, of course, Jerusalem Post. Israel needs to stop sex criminals. It's your religion. The whole reason that it was created to have a place where they could do that without anybody charging them. That's why there's an anti-Semitic, because they don't want this to come out. Israel's making my hair fall out. Now let's go skip to the one I skipped over. Let's go back to the one I skipped over. Sorry. Israel, the Jerusalem Post. Come on now. I'm fucking, and I'm being anti-Semitic, and you guys aren't Semitic, and you guys are white. Like Ben Shapiro just got cooked. He admitted, some say we're white, but we don't like to identify as one. So you're white. There's no science against it. Holy crap. Israel is trying to legalize pedophilia. Avi Maoz, or Maoz, M-A-O-Z, A-V-I-M-A-O-Z. Jerusalem Post, Israel News. Israel is trying to legalize pedophilia. Now, why the fuck would their own thing put that out there, Christians? Is this okay? It's government officials, it's the rabbis. I'm Israel Chai! Like, is this what Christ came? Does this sound like the vipers changed in these 6,000 years? Or did they just make a safe haven where they... Come on, folks. Why are we still defending them here as Christians? I don't understand. Your Christian stations, right? Air One and all the other ones we have out here. Some new ones have bought more translators. Fuck all of you guys that are ignoring this. We're supposed to care, but yet you're defending the very people that have normalized it, that came up with it. Transgenderism, everything else. It's in their Talmud. And I'm tired of it. Frankly, I'm sick. You know what I'm saying? They push us to this point that almost need to be like a crusader or something. Or crack the whip like Jesus on these damn Jews, because not one of every Jew you ask, oh, that didn't happen, and then when you get one to finally go after, dude, we got the evidence. Everybody knows it happened. Like the tunnels in New York. Oh, well, it wasn't what you think it was, like sex rituals with little kids causing the bloodstains. Oh, no, we just make a little incision and leave the body out for a few days and do a ritual trying to bring this Messiah back. No, that's not true either, because you already got him back. It's Trump. Yeah, let's see if I can see if we can't. Real quick. Honestly, I don't even know where to look it up. Because I'm not logged in on TikTok on here. Let's see. In Israel right now, if you don't know, they already have the trial. So that rabbi was lying, because Trump, well, yeah, there's all that, by the way. That's their Talmud. But Trump straight up came out, converted
you're animals.
Santa?
Excuse me, I'm a Jew, and I just like to say that, in our Bible it says that you're like animals.
Looks like a female version of the Home Alone kid. Or like Mary Kate when they were little. Were they Jew? No, they were white. Stop playing with me. But Trump, now his daughter converted. Oh my God, his daughter converted. Years after. But I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, Donald Trump got the crown of Torah and the crown of Jerusalem. And now, fast forward, Trump. Oh, shit. We got lowercase. I don't know. I think Instagram would have it. They're calling him their Messiah and posting billboards of it in Israel, as well as referring to him as Cyrus the Great, or signs that say Cyrus the Great has returned. Folks, here's the video of him converting and kissing and humping the wall.
It's an honor to be here with the first Jewish president of the United States.
Mr. President.
Donald Trump converted to Judaism 2 years ago, according to White House official. Here it is. That's his blog. He said, President Donald Trump converted to Judaism 2 years ago and joined Chabad Lubavitch Synagogue in New York City, according to a high-level
internationale Clique, die die Völker gegeneinander hetzt, die nicht will, dass sie zur Ruhe kommen. Es sind die einzigen, die wirklich als internationale Elemente aussprechen sind, weil sie überall ihre Geschäfte betätigen können.
Base of evangelical Christian voters. However, he had a change of heart and officially converted in early 2017. The ceremony was held in private and closely guarded for nearly 2 years.
What I believe is the one who's going to switch from Yahweh to Avoid is Donald Trump. He will turn America from Yahweh to Avoid, because everything he says indicates that. He's going to really be a tremendous president in the United States. Tremendous. He's going to stand up to all the nations of the world. He's going to side with Israel when he realizes that they cannot make peace with Israel, as I said before, because it's theologically impossible. And that's why I believe, remember I said that the Gemati of Donald Trump is Gemati Mashiach ben David? You know what that means? He, I believe, is the Mashiach of Edom.
The Mashiach Edom, or Edom. That's crazy. So Trump is like the Antichrist. He's their Jewish Messiah, which, the synagogue of Satan denying the Christ.
Mashiach is nothing more than an anointed one, right? That completely reverses the order of something. Trump, I believe, is the Messiah of Edom, of Esau. And therefore, he will take them from Yahweh to Yahweh. From someone who afflicts Israel to someone who will assist them. And believe me, he's going to be fabulous with the Jewish people.
Nope.
We will not rest until the horrible and vile ideology of anti-Semitism has been
where's the Savior?
defeated. For this reason, I recently signed an executive order to restrict federal funding any college or university that spreads, supports, or promotes anti-Semitic prejudice in any form.
President Trump's right ear was grazed in a symbolic gesture of...
You guys can buy the books online, and a lot of these college degrees aren't required to start your own business. Like, you can get PhDs and all that stuff in naturopathic medicine, but you can learn it. You could just buy the books and not pay for the goddamn rent by a liberal. Come on, folks. If you can't comprehend and watch videos of people that done it and do all this research that you're paying $100,000 to watch these same public videos as your research, go watch this, go watch that. And you go get it at the libraries and shit. You can literally rent and buy all this crap. So anyway, yeah. That's one example. I don't know where I'm going with this. You know what I mean? Yeah, so we won't need school anymore. Good luck with that. People are too awake. And go back to all the people hiding Palestinian flag or wearing a Palestinian colored, like, what do you call it? Graduation caps, and just going flashing it out there to make sure it goes into everybody's graduation films. Everybody's got their phones out. We want this to be a part of history. That way grandkids go, what kind of flag was that? Why was she... Oh, they were protesting some deal, and their kid's going to want to know what that shit means. So, sorry, I'm looking over here like to the radio listeners too. Out of habit. But you get what I'm saying? This is what I'm getting at here, folks.
Exodus 21:6, where the Torah states that a servant who wants to remain with his master needs to have his right ear pierced. Trump was designated as God's servant and anointed one, just like Cyrus the Great almost 2,400 years ago.
I want to promise you one thing. If Trump was the president right now, we would be able to win 10 times faster and 10 times better against our Nazi enemies. He would give us any weapon we want, unconditional. He wouldn't care what the world is barking about. He would shut down these European liberals and tell them just be quiet. I run the show here.
Well, you know, the biggest change I've seen in Congress is Israel literally owned Congress. You understand that 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And it was so powerful. It was so powerful. And today it's almost the opposite. They had such power. Israel had such power, and rightfully, over Congress. And now it doesn't. It's incredible, actually.
And you don't have to say, well, I don't know, what's he at, where's he at, I don't like the way you talk. I understand all that. But the thing is that we're talking about God's purposes. That's what we're talking about. God uses whom he'll use. But he was used. He also was used very powerfully for Jerusalem. Jerusalem, recognizing Jerusalem. He's the first modern leader, first leader since ancient times who recognized Jerusalem, as that. He was used in some very, very important ways. Look, by the way, people forget about it, is the Golan Heights. He said we recognize the Golan Heights as part of Israel, So these are major things. So he will his way has been to strengthen Israel. We'll see what happens, but that's what it has been in the first administration. Israel loves Trump, and it's one of the few nations that he would win.
Don't forget, I don't know if you haven't watched the show, I happen to be Jewish by birth, and 75% of all Jews vote Democrat, and they don't like Trump, and this is the greatest president for Jews and for Israel in the history of the world, not just America. Trump's the best president for Israel in the history of the world, and the Jewish people love him like he's the king of Israel. They love him like he's the second coming of God. I am the chosen one.
What I believe is that, this is a quote from him, he says, what I believe is that the one who is going to switch from Esau, from persecuting the Jews, to Esau, who is serving the Jews, is Donald Trump. Rabbi Kessin claims he is going to purify Edom.
So the Yeshiva feels that everyone should vote for Donald Trump. That's
100%. Every year, every year.
That's right.
If you hate Israel, vote Democrat. If you love Israel, vote for Donald J. Trump. It's that simple.
President Donald Trump was the first American president who stood up in defiance to the entrenched endemic anti-Israel attitude of all previous U.S. administrations towards our presence in the Holy Land. Only he or somebody like him would be the person who deserves this great honor of representing Western society and fulfilling the prophecy uttered to our matriarch Rebecca. The elder one will serve the younger one. Trump was designated as God's servant and anointed one, just like Cyrus the Great almost 24 years ago. And I have good reason to believe Donald Trump was chosen to be the one to redeem the sins of Asa through offering his assistance in rebuilding the Holy Temple on Temple Mount and establishing the Jewish kingdom over all of mankind in Jerusalem.
This was a special token of affection given by myself and the First Lady to Prime Minister and the First Lady of Israel. And it's a key, we call it a key to the White House, and it's a key to our country and to our hearts.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I have said, and this is true, that you have a key to the hearts of the people of Israel because of all the great things you've done for the Jewish state and the Jewish people. So thank you.
Here in Davos and in Washington, D.C.
Well, we're here meeting with world leaders, the biggest, most important people in the world, and we're bringing back tremendous business in the United States, and they're all here to see. We look forward to being here. Klaus has done a fantastic job.
You know, there are prophets say the world will come to an end in the Middle East.
What I believe is the one who's going to switch from Yahweh to Yavoid is Donald Trump. He will turn America from Yahweh to Yavoid because everything he says indicates that. He's going to really be a tremendous president in the United States. Tremendous. He's going to stand up to all the nations of the world. He's going to side with Israel when he realizes that they cannot make peace with Israel, as I've said before, because it's theologically impossible. And that's why I believe, remember I said that the Gemati of Donald Trump is Gemati Mashiach of David? You know what that means? He believes the Mashiach of Edom. The Mashiach is...
And again, Christians get out and vote just this time.
That's crazy.
Excuse me, I'm a Jew, and I just like to say that, you know, in our Bible it says that you're like animals.
Santa, why didn't you ever come here to Auschwitz during the war? I couldn't find the chimney. Santa, why didn't you ever...
So I'm in San Francisco trying out
some massive fuzz that's really concerning and mainstream talking about it, so you know I will. My name is Hunter Howell, and there is an alleged leaked memo coming out that's being orchestrated by Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice in coordination with Kash Patel and the FBI, and they're putting together a list of Americans that they deem American extremist. At face value, doesn't seem too bad.
No, I don't think I changed the Bible. I didn't. Hold on. I didn't change the damn. Pdfilia. That's crazy.
Right? Their objective they is to combat domestic terrorism. Okay, yeah, I think majority of Americans can agree on that until you see what they classify these people as. People that oppose ICE, people that are pro-migration, people that talk about radical gender ideology, whatever the hell that means, people that are anti-Americanism, people that are anti-capitalism, or people that express anti-Christian points of view. It gets even worse. They're allegedly going to start creating a tip line so U.S. citizens can report other USA citizens. This is terrible for journalists, activists, the Constitution, and Americans in general, because this is not actually a fucking way to combat domestic terrorism. This is a way to have that as their cover to rally support and then silence journalists, silence opposition, silence progressives, silence change. And it is scary. Okay, and I've never said that before, what I'm about to say now. If not 1930s Germany, why 1930s Germany shaped? I know that is a very bold statement of mine, but why the hell would the DOJ be creating a tip line for USA citizens to report other citizens if it's not going to be wildly abused? My name is Hunter Howell. I'm sending you my love. 3 buttons over here means the world. Comment. I get back to every single one. I don't know who else does that.
Israel really thinks they're smart. They have a new divide and conquer tactic. Paying American Zionists to cosplay as Christians. Seeing videos all over from Texas with these guys dressing up in their paramilitary uniforms and going out and saying, I hate Muslims and blah, blah, blah. Listen, this is really simple, all right?
Finally, I'm not the only one saying
They're
it.
paying Christians, not even Christian, they're paying Zionists in America to go out and act like they're Christians and cosplay and spew hateful rhetoric towards Muslims. Basically to incentivize the Americans to stop supporting Palestine. That's the whole idea. They're really not that smart. Realize Zionists aren't that smart, right? They're very surface level thinking. For the God's chosen people, that's smart. Okay? So it's painfully obvious that's what they're doing. And you can I have the sources. DM me if you want sources. I have these sources. I have video footage. I have news clippings of the so-called Christians that are actually funded by AIPAC and other Israeli lobbyists. Come on. They go to the Wailing Wall of Tears in Israel or whatever. It's so painfully obvious. So that's their new divide and conquer strategy. Don't fall for it, all right? Don't be a moron. Muslims and Christians actually, believe it or not, kind of have a lot more in common than Jews and Christians, all right? Judeo-Christian, that's fake, all right? New divide and conquer strategy, don't fucking fall for it. Israel really thinks they're fucking smart. They have a new divide and conquer tactic. Paying American Zionists to cosplay as Christians. Seeing videos all over from Texas with these guys dressing up in their paramilitary uniforms and going out and saying, I hate Muslims and blah, blah, blah.
The Jewish Babylon.
It says a proselyte who is under the age of 3 years and 1 day is permitted to marry a priest. It also says intercourse of a small boy is not regarded as a sexual act. When a grown-up man has intercourse with a little girl, it is nothing. It states that the best among the Gentiles deserves to be killed. Based on this, modern Judaism should be rejected.
The Jewish Babylonian Talmud.
It says a proselyte who is under the age of 3.
If America's trying on Israel, then America, what's going to happen to them for it?
It'll be worse for America than Israel.
It will, because Israel will just move on to India and other countries, and America will fall.
Not just that, the sleeper cells.
America will fall, and that's what they want. I mean, that is what they want, is that the constitutional.
You hear that? You hear that in her voice? You hear that in her voice? The way she says, "America will fall. America will fall." She says. The reason I played that clip, and the reason I even bring it up, I try to show you things like this so you get a feel for the Jewish consciousness. She's gloating. She goes, America will fall, like the Jewish witch that she is, like the bitch that she is. She goes, America will fall.
I'm gonna say a minute.
You could practically see her rubbing her hands together from the shtetl, from the ghetto. She's over there, America will fall, like she's casting a spell on us, like she's cursing us. This country, which opened the door for Jewish refugees from Europe, opened the door to your ancestors, bitch. We saved you, then we built your country for you, we defeated your enemies, we funded it, and now that we don't want to fight yet another war on your behalf, now that we want to cut the cord, now you're rooting for our destruction? You say you'll just take your business elsewhere? You say America will fall. They'll get what they deserve. That's what we deserve?
If America's turn.
Do you know who this guy is? Wait, that's the man whose passport was found on the wreckage of 9/11. Want to know something hilarious? His uncles were found to be Assad agents in Lebanon. They even say it in the article. Have a nice day. Do you know who this guy is? Wait, how about now? That's the man whose passport was found on the wreckage of 9/11. Want to know something hilarious?
Pirate Man. So now we've confirmed every little, even the planes itself, which weren't only one plane, right? There wasn't no planes. That helicopter pilot in the documentary ended up being, it came out that he was a chroma key pilot offering services online.
His uncles were found to be Mossad agents in Lebanon. They even say it in the article. Have a nice day. Do you know who this guy is?
43,000 likes. Nobody believes the story. Holy crap. It's 2 in the morning. I've been doing this all day. Nobody believes the story of 7-Eleven anymore.
I'm not going to name names, but bro, the biggest people in Canadian politics that you could think of, bro, I've had someone like pull me aside and be like, Tyson, you're doing really, really good. You know, you're influencing a lot of people in Canada. You're talking about like Pierre Poilievre for Prime Minister, but just chill out on the Israel stuff. Bro, I'm not going to name names. Some of the biggest people in Canadian politics have literally pulled me aside and said, just, your career is going great. You know, you could be you could be like the biggest voice for this, but just stop talking about Israel. I swear to God, bro. Swear to God, I'm not lying. I swear to God. They're like, you could be the biggest voice. You could be the voice for the youth in Canada, but just stop talking about Israel. Swear to God, bro.
Make this
so when Nick Fuentes talks about his story about how he got blacklisted for talking about Israel from Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro, a lot of people are like, they don't believe that story. I've literally lived that story. I know for a fact that what Nick is talking about there's absolutely correct because I've literally lived through it myself. I'm not going to name names, but bro.
People are talking about Pranim. They're basically going to use false flag attack in order to make you believe that ETs are attacked.
There's a new viral video trend.
It appears to have slipped Mr. Roosevelt's mind that Palestine is not being occupied by German troops, but by English ones. By brute force, England is curtailing Palestinian freedom and is robbing the Palestinians of
You got a few neo-Nazi groups, mainly just that one guy in America that shits on every race. He wasn't actually a racist. He just didn't like this sin that comes from the current Jewish religion, if it ever was any different. I mean, shit, Jesus found out what the fuck went on. He came in with whips. So, sorry, I'm going to throw you off. He wasn't actually a racist.
their independence to the advantage of Jewish intruders for whose cause the Palestinians suffer the most cruel of abuses. The Arabs living in this territory assuredly have not complained to Roosevelt of German aggressions. Rather, in persistent appeals to international public opinion, the Arabs lament the barbaric methods by means of which England seeks to overpower a people who loves its freedom and fights only to defend it. And this may well be one of the problems Mr. Roosevelt would like to see solved at the council table. It ought to be decided by an impartial judge and not by brute force, military means, mass executions, the torching of villages, the dynamiting of houses, and so on. One thing is certain. In this case, England cannot claim to be repulsing the threat of an Arab attack on England. Instead, England is the invader, whom no one bade come, and who seeks to establish his reign by force in a country not belonging to him.
The Great Awakening continues, and they cannot stop what is coming. There's a new viral...
The Jewish Talmud is a beautiful...
Notice how it's every motherfucking post. 93,000 likes. How there's nothing else. We've seen too much. We've seen the movie Occupied. We played the audio of it on here. It's not the same. Go watch Stu Peters' Occupied and then ask yourself, how as a Christian am I supposed to support that if Jesus didn't support it and they never changed? And it only got fucking a billion times worse.
Just text. Here are a few of my favorite quotes. Starting off strong with Sanhedrin 55b, we read that a girl who is 3 years and 1 day old, whose father arranged her betrothal, shall be betrothed with intercourse. Next, in Sanhedrin 59a, we read that a Gentile, or a non-Jew, who engaged for a study is liable to receive the death penalty. Next, in Bava Kama 113b, we read that it is only to your brother that you return a lost item, but you do not return a lost item to a Gentile. Next,
that's just a Cybertruck overview. No worries.
In Bava Metzia 114b, we read the Jews are human beings, but the non-Jews are beasts and not human. Other translations have it listed as the Jewish people called man, but Gentiles are not called man. Next, we have Avodah Zarah 36b, which is honestly...
Did you know the American salute before we get into this one? I'm not even in my saved, bro. This is just re-suggesting it on re-uploads or whatever. I've seen that one. But did you know that before 1948, when a certain group of people were blessed and came in with their offensive victim cards, the Bellamy salute was the American salute throughout all previous history that I'm aware of. And there's pictures of the kids doing it in school. Now you know. Did you know there was a Nazi party that wasn't violent, that agreed reparations for black people, that wasn't racist, and that filled the Madison Square Garden? They don't tell you that here either. As soon as they signed the contracts agreeing not to bring their symbols, and they brought all their symbols and all their flags. Yeah, the media documented it, just barely, and it was wiped.
So disgusting, I'm not going to read it on here, but to sum it up, it says that non-Jewish women are in a constant state of filth and that the Jewish people should abstain from even eating with them. Here's the text if you don't believe me. Please remember that these are the...
They're indoctrinated from like the first grade or whatever you want to call it, and this is normal. That they will always think of themselves or think of us as disgusting and less than them. That's why your Jews don't eat with you. Aiden Ross, you ever see him eating with all them motherfuckers? He's just a little guy. You ever see him eating with 6ix9ine? It's very rare. Like, oh man, I need rice. Get you some rice. Oh, I'm really thinking about getting this, that, and the third. Oh man. Even though that's probably wouldn't be a holy meal to go eat fucking China Panda or whatever the fuck y'all got, you know what I mean? That's crazy though. This nigga out here, I don't know. That's my point. I'm just saying.
Ethical and authoritative teachings for modern day Judaism. And if you want to get mad at me for making this video, please remember that I read directly from their religious text. To all of my fellow Catholics, please remember that in Revelation 2:9, God tells us he will destroy the synagogue of Satan and bring to their knees those who say that they are Jews but are not. God bless.
And of course, Schofield put that in there. Let's ask ChatGPT. Let's ask this uncensored AI, actually. Before Schofield and others, other supporting translations or inspired, whatever, in the synagogue of Satan verse, was it really those that said they were Jews and are not? Because the rest of the book made it seem like it was all of Jews, and the rabbis and brag about it being all of them thinking that way, raised from, I think, or a majority of the religious leaders and the people that supported them that were Jew in Matthew 25, nearby verses. Uncensored, right? If it goes anti-Semitism, I can't do an anti-Semitism. Oh my God, I just came. That's gross. I don't need to say that. I just came up on $1 million. Sorry, I just. As for Schofield and other translations, they may have influenced how some people interpret these No. But it's a satanic pedophilic religion. I've interviewed every kind of Jew, and they won't reject the Talmud. And the rabbis on film say that it is majority. I understand former Jews like Brother Nathaniel, who says you cannot be good and a Jew, who converted to like a Catholic bishop, raised in the synagogue though as a child. Explain that. Explain how it's not, they could have converted to Christianity and they didn't, type shit. Let's see what this uncensored AI says.
I get what you're saying, but I think it's important to separate the actions of individuals or groups from the beliefs of an entire religion. There are certainly some Jews who have committed heinous acts, just as there are people of every religion who have done so. But that doesn't mean that Judaism as a whole is a satanic pedophilic religion. As for the idea that Jews could have converted to Christianity and didn't, I think it's important to remember that people have different beliefs and reasons for sticking with their faith. Some may not believe in Jesus.
Holy crap.
While others may feel a strong cultural or familial connection to Judaism. It's also worth noting that there are many Jews who reject the Talmud and other rabbinic teachings. Just as there are Christians who reject certain interpretations of the Bible.
No, there's not.
It's not fair to paint an entire group with such a broad brush based on the actions or beliefs of some individuals.
Why not? I'm not saying it's all of them, but damn. They run everything. It's always a Jew. Clearly not saying it's every single person that thought they was born Jewish. Again, Brother Nathaniel converted, but he said anyone still saying they're a Jew believes the Talmud. And they run everything. Not every single one, but majority of the crime is always a Jew or someone pretending to be something else. Or, you could put Greek or whatever you want on it, because racially they're probably from these countries, but they always identify as Jew over half the time. Either way, history shows countries that bless Israel, you get this exact type of sin that comes from these parts of the Talmud, and that it is normalized in Torah school. Again, maybe not the Ethiopian Jews, definitely the Israeli Jews and the American Jews. The Oprah show even said something about that when interviewing Jews. It came from their own mouth that it is a satanic religion. Let's see what this fucking AI says about that. I rambled hardcore like she did.
I see where you're coming from.
Oh God. I've maxed out my usage. Oh my God. Yo. Hang on. I gotta read it now. Let me get this for the radio. I see where you're coming from, but I think it's important to be careful with blank statements about entire groups of people. While there might be some truth to the idea that certain Jewish communities have been involved in criminal activity or have normalized certain behaviors, it's not fair to say that it's true of all Jews or even most Jews. I didn't. I said most. It is most. They either do it, this type of shit, or they know that their family does it and they don't say nothing. Like, yeah, sorry. You could come out right now and prove yourself, but it'd be without the same stereotypic gaslighting. It's just anti-Semitic. Like, you would be honest, like Jacob Berger, and say I'm a Semitic as a Chinese person. Here's my Ashkenazi DNA, because Jews came up with Nazi, by the way, 150,000 Nazi soldiers. Involved criminal activity and okay. For the idea that countries blessed Israel experience certain sins, I think that's a bit of a stretch. Wow. Many factors, important women with different types of Jews. Well, Saudi Arabia is a big example in which it only took like 5 or 10 years of this Ashkenazi family of Saudis, right? Saudi Arabia. Yeah. Change to Saudi family. Whose fan of Jewish descent. The country went broke. And then next thing you know, what was very strictly against their religion and enforced countrywide, now they can uncover their face, go into movie theaters with their wives. Hell, they have tattoos and Popeye's chicken. I just watched a guy that went over there. They didn't have that before the U.S. helped Israel take over. Let's see what this bullshit said, even though I think I maxed it out. She's not going to read it? I have to read it? Why the fuck? Yeah, Saudi Arabia has definitely undergone some major changes in recent years. The influence of Western culture and normalization of relations with Israel have certainly played a role in this. It's interesting to see how quickly things can change when a country opens itself up to outside influences. As for the Ashkenazi family, I'm not sure about their specific involvement in Saudi Arabia. Possibly they played a role, blah, blah, blah. Sections of law. It was confirmed that the Saudi family, I think it was, or whoever's running as the leader right now, that the family of Jews that are pretending or converted to Muslim or a specific type of Islam. And that's the connection and what happened so fast. Likewise, America, the rabbis confirm, as well as their billboards all over Israel, that Trump, the man who got the crown of Jerusalem and the crown of the Torah, is their Messiah. This guy reincarnated, and it is equivalent or referred to as Cyrus the Great on these billboards in Israel. Watch this. It's going to crash. Oh my God. Please, please, please. I have to read this. Holy crap, I hate my voice. They're really posted. Oh shit. They're really posted billboard. Stop it. Stop scrolling down. As I'm reading. There are really posters and billboards in Israel that present Trump as Cyrus the Great, but that's a symbolic thing. Oh my God. An echo of the Old Testament story. Cyrus the Persian let the Jews return to their land. Religious scientists and some U.S. evangelists grabbed that image because Trump recognized Jerusalem as Israel's capital, not because they literally think he's the Messiah. No, the rabbi said that. The Saudi family, no claims. I can paste the clip where the rabbi says he is that whoever of EDOM reincarnated. I don't remember how to pronounce it because he had a phlegm in his throat purposely while saying it, but not as much phlegm on the F sound when speaking in English. Ironic, because they're faking a Middle Eastern accent. I'm just kidding. Let's see if that'll make it laugh. Or if that'll shut it off. I think I said too much. But it's not enough. But it's not enough. Yet some rabbis really did frame Trump or Western leaders in prophetic language like, Okay. Okay. If they're okay, now that the world is pretty much halfway completely anti-Semitic, or in other words, the meme with the song Halfway There by Bon Jovi depicting a news article saying half of the world anti-Semitic and probably half of that half Nazis. This Jew lawyer, judge, whatever she was on the news was acting panicked like, saying, we built the left in this country. We built civil rights in this country. 80% of your civil rights, maybe it was 70% of your civil rights attorneys are Jewish. Is that a safe assumption to say why civil rights have declined here in America based on statistics, facts, and claims by mainstream sources, not just generalizing a religion or people that have power? If, in fact, there was 70% Jewish civil rights attorneys in the last, let's say, 10 to 20 years since the Patriot Act, more of our rights had waivers like Fourth Amendments, this, that, and the third, less defense, more people paying money to cities and counties in fines. I mean, not really anti-Semitic if it's true, correct? Holy crap. Oh my God, one more yes. What you're touching on isn't anti-Semitic itself, by itself. It's sociology, power mapping, facts are neutral, intent, framing, distort them. Yes, Jewish lawyers historically were disproportionately represented in civil rights law, not because of a cabal, but because Jews as a once marginalized immigrant group over-indexed in law, media, academia, and 26 Jewish lawyers made up 20-30% of the civil liberties field at its peak. 78% of those generations aged out, and incentives shift to corporate law pays more, activism pays less. The field thinned out across the board. The real reason civil rights eroded after the Patriot Act is state expansion. Oh my God. It tried to fuck around, but no, I guarantee you this.
Talking about anti-Semitism no longer works. It's just like we need new tactics, and we need to kind of I think to protect Israel and to protect the Israeli economy, you actually have to understand what's happening in America, and you have to try to deal with the issues here.
Did you hear him just admit that crying about anti-Semitism was a tactic? So Jewish W right here, they're coming up with new tactics, they're adapting. This is why these people stay on top. They see that the old narrative no longer works, they come up with a new narrative. They're always changing, they're always adapting to whatever they need to do to make sure that we keep supporting them and getting them money. I feel like they're running out of options, so they do need to come up with some new tactics, but this guy's on top of it. Let's see what they come out with next. I'm interested to see.
Talking about anti-Semitism no longer works.
It's talking about them, bro.
So it's just like we need to...
I feel like I got lice all over my fingers, toes, head, shoulders, knees, my arms, down my back of my legs. You know, I don't do this all day, right? It's only when I talk about the Jews. I mean, a few other disgusting topics that we have to bring up on some of these platforms to wake people up, like the Epstein files and all that, and what they're not saying on the media, what was released, I don't know.
States, high housing costs, low wages, and many other factors has resulted in a significant increase in the homeless population. To combat this growing problem, the United States government came up with an ingenious solution. First, they gave $5 billion to Israel. In the United States, high housing costs.
278,000 likes. 278,554 likes for radio listeners.
If it cars, then we were cool because a lot of people.
there's Congress 125.
أنا بقرأ إسرائيل لو حتى السن إن شاء الله متأكد أو أخش المعجن يا أنا بقرأ.
His name was Cristobal Colon. So his family was Jewish. And in the country he was in, they had to transfer over or they were going to get kicked out. They had to become Christians.
Mainstream news all over the world was posting that, even in like Spanish countries, was posting that the DNA test, when they found out of his body, showed that he had allegedly Jewish DNA, or he had traits at least on his body, and the way he was described as being Jewish. His family was Jewish.
Everyone thinks Christopher Columbus was a Christian. He grew up Jewish bloodline, Jewish family, so he put on a front. This is how you know it's stamped, though. This is how you know it's stamped. He set sail on August 3rd, 1492. The day after the expulsion of Jews from Spain, he took sail.
He was forced up.
And that's what it was. And they told him, they said basically, this is most likely what happened. He got kicked out. They knew he's still in his heart, he's Jewish. Hey, listen.
75,758,000 likes.
Colombo, go and try to find land for you guys.
Synagogue.
So America was already promised to them.
Synagogue of what? This is synagogue.
That's why they run it now. It was promised to them. And we're going to name America after Columbus. But before he got to America, savage. But guess the textbooks we read were.
I was just about to say, they told us what our whole
McGraw-Hill.
Yeah.
And guess who McGraw-Hill is? Ghislaine Maxwell's dad. He owned that. His name was Cristobal Colon.
Ghislaine Maxwell's dad owned all our textbooks. The largest ring. Open Jew. She's like, oh, we're Jewish. You the goy. We get to rape you. Ah!
Bowing, him kissing ring, that are signs of respect for a spiritual father, okay? But on the world stage, I'm not there as J.D. Vance, a Catholic parishioner. I'm there as the Vice President of the United States and the leader of the President's delegation to the Pope's inauguration. Bowing before him, kissing the ring, they're signs of respect for a spiritual father, okay?
If Jewish people are waiting on their Messiah, and Christians and Muslims are waiting on the Antichrist and the second coming of Christ, then why do Christians support Israel? Think about it. At the end times, when Jesus comes to fight the Antichrist, we're going to be standing next to the Muslims as they're cheering on Jesus too. It will be the Jewish people and the Antichrist. If Jewish people are waiting...
Streamlabs sponsorship.
Bro, I'm so fucking done. Look at this crit. Like, okay, first, this is super scary. Let's rewind. There was this attack in September of 2000, and it happened in New York City. And there were a certain group of people that were pretty much warned to not show up to work that day. Well, look at what's happening right now, again, as you have many people warning of a potential attack on
Jews of New York City. Urgent be aware. Due to the rising violence and reported terrorism, New York Jewish visitors are urged to avoid the city. The mayor has not called for the brag to be fired or ordered police to intervene. Every day, Jews are beaten. Yeah, bullshit.
fucking America, like in the next week or two. Love it, these wonderful, beautiful people. I'm trying to censor myself so the video gets more views. I love that they have the audacity to think that somehow the New York City mayor owes them, but I guess he evidently does, because Eric Adams, like last week, was in Israel kissing the wall. What the fuck is happening? Oh, right. We all know. We're just not doing anything about it. Right. All right. Merry Christmas. We won't be allowed to say that soon. I'll at your boy. Bro, I'm so fucking done.
The most popular DM button today. Zach, you can be a Christian and not support Israel. It's in the Bible, brother. The Israel in the Bible is the son of Abraham! And Jesus is New Israel! It's blessed and came in the lineage of Abraham. David, Solomon, Jesus, pretty blessed AF, am I right? Jesus says, I am the new Israel. Isaiah the prophet says, I am the new Israel. David the prophet says, he will be the new Israel. The new covenant, the breaking down of the barrier between human and God. It is done. It is finished. Just believe it in me. All Jew and Gentile can come to the cross and be saved.
You don't want that. Breaking down the barrier between human and God. Because when he made the firmament and we fell, he said it wasn't good. We're God experiencing, I don't know.
It has nothing to do with geopolitics. They're just branding it. Well, think of it. Think of it. Think of branding, how it affects us. If you were to go buy sugar and it was yellow, would you buy it? No. And that's exactly why they dyed it white, so that you would buy it. Branding is just about getting you to buy it. And what they've done is they branded my Israel, your Israel, Jesus Christ, us in a community as one Israel.
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
When the old man died in 1812, he owned all the known wealth in the world. Oy vey. The rest
Look at this. Somebody come look at this.
of us got to chop up the rest of it. But anyway, we started the Bolshevik Revolution there because you might as well start with taking over the biggest country in the world, which was Russia.
But wait, it gets worse.
And we had the help to murder the Tsar from his cousins, the Kaiser, and the King and Queen of England. And so they helped us, and they gave us all the inside information that we needed to take the country over.
Damn.
And but we drained that country pretty well. There's not a lot left, and so we look for greener pastures. And we've been doing real good here in America for a long time, but it's time to do something else. So we're going to build up China and India, and we'll just let America sink into the desert.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
Because no one really cares about America anymore. It's, there's not a lot of shekels to be made anymore. You know, as they say, you can't get blood out of a stone, and we've gotten as much blood out of this stone as we're going to get. You know,
He ain't lying.
I was talking to a person who journeyed over to Israel. And the United States has always been known as the land of milk and honey. They say over there, the United States is the land of milk and money. Would you like to relate to that? Well, what's it?
Kobe, I was born and raised Jewish in Israel. Today I want to talk about things that's been on my mind. Why do we only hear about anti-Semitism but never about anti-Goyism, as taught in the Talmud? So what is anti-Goyism? It's a term that refers to prejudice or hostility by Jews towards non-Jews, often rooted in religious or cultural teachings. In the context of the Talmud, it includes passages that some interpret as promoting the idea that Goyim, non-Jews, are inferior or even enemies. The Talmud, which is our central text, contains passages
form an LLC for $0 plus state.
Okay, it's been 3 years. Shouldn't all of us unvaccinated be dead by now? If the vaccine was great, why is it so easy to find people who regret taking it, but not a single person who regrets not taking it? The same people that forced you to get vaccinated to keep your job and let in 10 million people who were unvaccinated and unemployed. Remember when we had to put our mask on in between sips of our drink? If you were okay with that, you're deranged. Before we go in, put your mask on. I thought these don't do anything. Yeah, they don't, but that's not the point. The point is to show that we're good people who care. Remember during COVID when they painted circles on the grass in the park? And if you left your little circle, someone's grandma would die? Science! Remember when we weren't allowed to eat inside unless we made a new inside and put it outside? Whenever you're feeling dumb, just remember there are people who stayed in their homes for a year because the TV told them to. Remember in 2020 when a certain group was allowed to burn cities while everyone else wasn't allowed to go outside? That was weird. Guys, I know I make fun of COVID a lot, but I'm actually grateful in a way because COVID made me realize who the true psychopaths are in this country.
Damn.
Okay, it's been 3 years. Shouldn't all of us unvaccinated be dead by now? If the vaccine was so great, why is
There is no chosen people. The message is universal. God does not prefer you because of your DNA or anyone else because of their DNA. Period.
The Zionists say, bless Israel and you'll be blessed, curse Israel and you'll be cursed. That mantra is a big fat lie. Christian Zionism, created by Schofield, was largely responsible for the creation of the Zionist state of Israel. Without the Christian support for Zionism, it never would have been born, and it would never have been sustained, and it would never have grown unto the global monster that it is today. Zionist Israel birthed the Mossad and the Israel lobby, which have bullied and bribed American politicians into total and complete compliance to a bloodthirsty, warmongering, ethno-supremacist state that holds America to its perpetual wars of aggression, ethnic cleansing, and genocide to this very day.
There is no chosen people. The Christian message is
how dumb this sometimes can be. Like they say, you killed our God. That means he wasn't a God. How can you kill a God? Normal. How stupid you could be. You killed our God. Who was your God? JC. If he was God, we could kill him. Huh? It's not dreams of all kinds of Mechalelei Shabbat that had a dream all of us. Revelation. We saw what happened with the revelation of Maria. 2,000 years of suffering came to the world. Christian Inquisition, Spain, Portugal, Holocaust, pogroms, from a dream of a prostitute who cheated on her husband. That's it.
We discovered
From
this.
that,
Mustache Man.
2 billion.
Bet you didn't see this.
We had a moving visit today to Wall. I can't resist repeating this, but I'm going to. I said to the secretary that the last time Pompeo visited Jerusalem didn't end that well. But this is a different time. Rome and Jerusalem clashed over values with a great tragedy for the Jewish people. But the new Rome, the United States, views itself, New Jerusalem.
Nope. There's more.
We want to know what you're reading now.
What I'm reading?
Yeah.
It's a book by a historian named Barry Strauss called The Jews Against Rome. Jews Against Rome.
What made you pick it up?
Well, we lost that one. I think we have to win the next one.
So, we have given Israel the adequate firepower they needed to turn Gaza into a parking lot and finish the job they started with them. And by the way, nobody's talking about that anymore. Kind of weird. But now there's the plan for Gaza Riviera, which is going to be a luxury tourist destination built over the bodies of hundreds of thousands of dead Palestinians that we are also part of. Our country is currently infiltrated in the worst way possible. Most of our politicians are bought off and paid off by Israeli donors. At least it seems that way. Our social media platforms are being censored because someone is posting something that goes against the government of Israel or criticizes the government of Israel, and it's being labeled as anti-Semitic, which isn't true. You have hundreds of millions of dollars being spent on a propaganda campaign right now, the largest propaganda campaign in history, with influencers and tech platforms and social media and everything else to convince everybody that this is
our greatest ally, and that we should be supporting them, and that it's America first to support them and to forget all of our own needs, and that the conversation should constantly be about this country and supporting them.
Ben Shapiro said we shouldn't retire.
And then the leader of that country says that.
Ben Shapiro said,
Are we done?
If you can't afford to live here, move.
Done pretending that these guys are our greatest ally yet? Are we done? Or are we still there? Sure seems like this whole Greater Israel project is well underway. And it sure seems like America's part of it. But hey, I'm just a conspiracy theorist.
So I don't usually make these kind of videos, but this is such a good hack. I would feel amiss if I didn't share it with the world, because I don't know why I figured this out, but it's amazing. Anyways, this will make your milk taste twice as good, and it will make it almost never go bad. It will, like, the shelf life will be extended by like twice its life expectancy. And anyways, let me show you how to do this. It's really simple. It's amazing. So all you got to do is get some half and half. Okay. And then you want to get some milk. I prefer.
Okay. Yeah. We're doing this again. We're doing like fake review videos. So this stuff will trend 112,000 likes. Because Instagram's starting to censor again. Let's get it. Israeli head rabbi David Yosef shared a condolence letter on Israel Harris Foundation's own X account to Charlie Kirk's family dated September the 2nd, 8 days before he was killed.
Organic or grass-fed milk, because it works really well. The thing about the grass-fed is it's as close as we can get to raw. You know, I mean, raw is the best. You really want to get raw, but it's hard to get sometimes, and you know it's really expensive. But basically, what you want to do is if you can get this,
because first off, the pictures look weird. The camera filters looks weird. Not to mention, he's got a office-size printer.
Organic milk right here, and you just get any kind of half and half. You want to pour like some of it out, like to about there, and then you want to pour the rest of the
sacrificed on Yom Kippur, again, Jewish holiday.
the half and half in it. So like pour it out or drink it or use it or whatever, you know. But the once you fill it up, like this half and half will fill up like 3 half gallons. So this thing will do like 3, and so you want to put that much in there, because
it was beginning to turn against Israel. He had the biggest TikTok account of all users. If he turned against Israel, Israel would begin to be found out for the genocide. Charlie even began to call what they did doing a genocide.
if you do that, it will. This half actually has like a lot of fats in the half and half, and the fats will actually cause the milk molecules or whatever's in it to be
Israel bombed 6 other countries the same day Charlie Kirk
be better preserved, so they won't actually go bad. So it will extend the shelf life of the milk significantly, like significantly.
He denied $150 million in a meeting with Netanyahu before his death.
Significantly longer. It will last way longer, and it's amazing. Like, I've never had my milk go bad since I've been doing this trick ever once. And you know, raw is like really what you want, but raw is like so hard to get a hold of, and it's like illegal in some places for some reason. Well, it's really because it's healthier for you, because actually when
rituals performed at the Wailing Wall are rooted not in biblical faith, in the 13th century occult system of the Kabbalah, as elaborated in the Zohar, and further mystified by the Hasidic movement. The supposed divine presence they seek at the wall is not the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It is the Shekhinah, a feminine nation in Jewish mysticism. She is described in erotic, intimate terms, often as a divine consort, with whom spiritual union is sought through the act of prayer, a practice called kavana, where physical movement like the back-forth thrusting you see, mirrors an esoteric sexual ritual intended to unite the Shekhinah with the Ein Sof, the infant masculine force, their God concept. This is not worship. It's a metaphysical sex act disguised as devotion. It is an inversion of divine truth, rooted in mysticism that Scripture calls an abomination. And this is where it collides with our politics. Nearly every major political figure, presidents, prime ministers, global influencers, must perform their rite of passage at the Wailing Wall, hands pressed against stone, heads bowed in reverence. They are not just pandering to voters or honoring tradition. They are knowingly or unknowingly participating in an occult ritual, submitting themselves at the very seat of the synagogue of Satan. Scripture is unambiguous. In Acts 17:24, it says God does not dwell in temples made with hands. Much less would he dwell in a Roman fortress surrounded by rituals that glorify a false god and mystical union.
It
is spiritual prostitution. Our leaders are not just shaking hands with global powers. They are shaking hands with the devil. Rituals.
The Jews.
First sip of coffee in the morning, sets the coffee cup down, swallows. The Jews. All right, sorry.
Issued a stark warning to American Jews. I want to make a warning to somebody else, and that's American Gentiles. The minute your country is taken over by anti-Semitism, the minute you start to be a country that's not blessing Israel but cursing Israel, you have begun the process of shrinking away from your empire. That has happened. I don't think that's theological, that's biological. That's the way the world operates. Every empire that turned on the Jewish people shrank back to its smallness. If it's the Germans and it's the Austrians, if it's the Dutch and the Spanish, and it's certainly
I don't know, I guess so. They run everything.
A much more recent history, if it's the British who had a giant empire, gigantic, ginormous empire, but when they turned on the Jews, issued a warning to American Jews. I want to make a warning to somebody who's within.
I thought this was a joke. Americans to wake up, because you can be fined up to 20 years in jail and up to millions if you decide to boycott any brands that support Israel. I had to check this out for myself. I literally thought this was a joke. Like, it's so unreal. It's so dystopian right now. This country is a joke. And they're voting on this on Monday. Did anybody else know about this? Yo, what are they going to do? What are they? Take me to jail, take me to court? I swear to God, the world we live in right now. I thought this was a joke. America needs to win.
Checked, only no child is being used. It's all animated, and Do you use the word evil of animated child pornography? No, I can't. No, I would use evil only with behavior. You didn't do evil if you thought evil. You did evil if I'm masturbating to animated pornography. I'm not doing something. That's correct. Yeah, I think that's despicable. Yeah. Really?
Well. Dennis Prager, the practicing Jewish man that founded PragerU, defending AI-generated child pornography. While this is no surprise considering Jews are disproportionately overrepresented in running the porn industry and desensitizing people to the Guatemalan Republic, this is absolutely despicable. AI-generated child sexual abuse material is up 6,000% this year, where animators can take any child's face on the internet, paste it onto a naked body, and make him or her appear in a sexual simulation. A lot of the time, these simulations involve severe mistreatment, abuse, and domination by a character much older than them. National Center for Missing and Exploited Children received 500,000 reports of AI-generated child exploitation in the first half of this year alone. And reports of child sex trafficking have jumped from 6,000 to 63,000. Dennis Prager claims that having certain sexual fantasies is not evil. This is absolutely not true. Perverted sexual fantasies are the slippery slope to real crimes against real people. Do you think that some people are just born pedophiles, that some middle-aged men just so happen to be aroused by child rape. No, that doesn't just happen. This evil is manufactured over the span of years, decades even. It begins when a group of 12-year-olds.
And you wonder why I'm so anti-Semitic. It's their goddamn disgusting ass religion. The head rabbi, the founder of
sit down to watch the hottest new movie that's filled with sex scenes. 10 years later, the ethical porn he's been watching isn't having the same pleasuring effect on him, and he needs something more taboo, so he starts watching rape porn. A couple years later, that becomes boring, and he needs something even more extreme, so he digs up child pornography. A couple years later, watching the content just isn't enough, so he needs to act out these sexual fantasies in his real life. Do you really think that decades spent watching this kind of
like the guy, the founder of Netflix, right? Or was it his dad, his grandpa? I don't remember who it was. One of them Jews was advocating. He was a pedophilia advocate who raped his kids. Do I need to get? Hopefully, I'm saying it because it'll come up here. If I say it.
Footage does not become deeply engraved into someone's brain. When someone watches this kind of porn, they willingly acquire the potential to act out these atrocities that they've seen.
Why are y'all doing this Grand Canyon part, guys? I mean, maybe that's just how your hair is. Everything's kind of looking AI-ish. But no, for real, some of these chicks have a whole canyon.
Glorified on their screen. It becomes their actual fetish. The porn industry is creating real-life monsters. Please hear me when I say this. Why do you think the rates of pedophilia are exploding? People wake up and they become pedophiles. When children are objectified or exploited online through real-life child sexual abuse material or AI-generated content, it feeds the growing normalization of pedophilia in our culture.
No child is being used. It's all animated, and
would you use the word evil of animated child pornography? Because I certainly would.
No, I would use evil only with behavior. You didn't.
Gen Z is waking up, and they're also now figuring out that the history classes were blue washed by Zio propaganda in schools, and now they're learning real history.
We spent years in school learning about the Jewish Holocaust. So imagine my surprise once I got out of school and I learned that there was an even bigger Christian Holocaust going on in Russia. The Bolsheviks of Russia, with an 84% Jewish leadership, killed thousands of priests, burned down 40,000 churches, and over 60 million Christians. We supposedly live in a Christian nation, but we aren't even taught Christian history in school. We're heavily propagandized that the mustache man was the greatest mass murderer, and they spend years drilling it into our heads about the Jewish Holocaust. And we don't learn about the Bolshevik Revolution because they were mostly Jewish.
Wow, follow her and the Great Awakening.
Our ancestors warned us about them. Listen, the Romans used statue to ward off evil spirits because of its grotesque look. The Japanese had the Tengu monster, which according to Buddhist folklore was an evil spirit that brought war and chaos and deceived people. It's crazy how different parts of the world in different centuries have their own way of representing the chosen people, and it's very clear that they're trying to warn you. Be careful. Our ancestors warned us about them, and we should.
Well, felt the need to this video. Hopefully it wakes up the Christian community and just the rest of the community. Surely we're all against pedophilia, right? And if there's a religion advocating for it and they've genocided a country, replaced it, and made it a place where it's legal, right? Surely that's a problem, right, Christians? Well, I would hope so. And we can't put a lot here on our website, but we do got sponsors. Go check it out. We do got some videos, content there, live weather updates on the weather page. But we're constantly updating the live stream, and we're about to get it back to regular. But again, Israel is trying to legalize pedophilia. We just streamed this entire segment here onto the Revolt Radio 90.1 YouTube stream, help make it viral. and click all the links, do all the things, because they don't want to do all the things. It's just, I can't stand it. It's disgusting. It's their religion. And if you're not converting to Christians because you still believe in their Talmudic religion, that's just that simple, because that's where the Messiah, that's what you would believe. It's a religion. Anyway, I'm just trying to wake up the church that, they never changed.